Hello everyone, this is Fred again. I'm going to talk about the latest update for Snake vs. Snake, which is version 1.2.2, but it rather feels like 2.0 because of the fixed graphics. This update is already out on Xbox One and PC and Android. It will take a little bit longer for it to pass certification on Nintendo Switch, but hopefully it will be out well, in a few weeks or so. So what's new in Snake version 1.2.2? Well, an important part is the updated graphics. This is how the game looked previously. And as you see, the motion is a little bit laggy, and there's not a lot of things on the screen, which feels like the game is pretty empty. So the first thing that we fixed was the smooth motion. So instead of having the laggy motions that we decided to have because of the pixel look, we basically smoothed out the motion instead, which made it well, move a lot smoother. And then we changed the graphics of the border to another system that allows both more flexible ways of creating borders and the ability to use different sprite sheets, so the borders can look nicer basically. But the game still feels kind of empty, so we added an inner frame with the ability to have some shadows on it and basically customize the content of the inside frame. And now the game is starting to actually feel and look a lot better. But it's still kind of empty on the outskirts of the game. So by fixing basically another sprite sheet with some sprites covering up the outside area with some shadows, we basically get this. Now it looks a lot better, and the motion is, well, a lot smoother than it was. So we think that the gameplay is much better. We also switched to a new system called the Super Tile Map Editor for Unity, which makes it a lot easier to create levels for us. And while we were at it, we also updated the AI of the whole game basically. And this is just a reminder how it looked before the update and after the update. So we're pretty happy with the result. And if we look at the level creation, this is how it looks like when we are creating levels, and this is actually the AI running at the same time. So we can stop the game and add different parts to the levels, and we can see how the AI reacts to the level and make sure that it actually behaves properly. Before it was pretty much just running into the walls a lot because it didn't really look very far ahead. Now it looks a lot further to the sides when it hits a wall to try to find the best way out of the situation. And this produces a much nicer gameplay when you just have AI to play against, which we found that a lot of people have. So now it's a real challenge to actually beat the in-game AI. Also, we looked at the tail mode, the tail runner mode, where the AI didn't behave good at all. Usually it just died within a few seconds, and now we've tweaked it so it can manage to sustain for a bit longer. It does still take some rather stupid decisions, but it is a huge improvement from the previous version basically. Also, we went through and changed a lot of things in the levels. So before there were some windmills and some other parts of the game where we had moving parts that didn't really feel like it fitted the game, and it often just caused strange things. So we introduced this new obstacle. It's called we don't have a real name for it, but it's a wall bouncer. So when it hits a wall, it instantly bounces, and we can combine that with other obstacles such as the walls, as you see on this level. When the player opens the walls, the area that the bouncer can move in becomes much larger, and you also have to be careful about your tail because the bouncer will bounce off of the tail basically. We also added the wall shot from the PvP mode into the single player mode. So we have some levels where you can get shot from the side, so you have to be careful where you go. Also, the wall bouncers can be used in different areas, and we have used them in some levels, and we will probably add them in the future for the battle mode, basically, so you can fire this at other players. We think it's quite interesting because it produces a nice obstacle that becomes a little bit different because it reacts on the player. So dependent on how a player would solve this level, it can become more or well, basically harder or easier for the player dependent on how they lock in the obstacles. Another thing that we noticed that was that people are playing this game in different session lengths, and it varies. It takes some users an hour to complete all the levels in speedrun mode, and it takes some some players 20 minutes. So we added a feature where you can continue from your last session. So if you have already completed 10 levels, you can just press continue, and it will continue from level 10 in that case, and it will store how much time you've spent, or if it's hardcore mode, it will store your score and how many hearts you have remaining. We also did a bunch of other fixes in the game to tweak the speed of the snake and some other things that makes it better to play. But let's have a look at the game, and we'll see how far we have come. So I'll run a speedrun session, and we'll continue from level 3. The interesting part with the speedrun that I said before is that we now get data how much time it takes for a person to complete levels. And when we did update, we felt that maybe it was a little bit too easy, some of the levels. But looking at the initial scores that people are, or how much time they're spending it's still a pretty decent amount. So it takes an average player maybe 20 minutes to complete all levels. A good player can probably do it under 10 minutes, and somebody that's completely new to the game will need between 40 minutes and an hour to complete the 18 levels that are included. So we feel that that's pretty decent base to continue from, and we want your feedback on what type of levels we should add in the future. We have also started to plan a sort of a story mode for the first snake, and we'll see how that comes along in future updates. But I hope that you will enjoy the game, and keep on playing it and see how it evolves over time. And don't forget to give your feedback and join our Discord channel. That's how we can develop the game together, basically. Alright, have an awesome day, and go and play some Snake vs Snake now. Bye.